Situationships usually involve a partner that is avoidant, especially a dismissive avoidant. But fearful avoidance can be in situationships too. The person acts like they're your partner. They act like you're an official couple. You do couple things together. You spend time together. You're romantic together. But every time you push for a commitment label, you're met with resistance. Why do we have to put a label on it? Why do we have to complicate things? Why can't we just go with the flow? I'm just not ready for a commitment right now. And other vague excuses. And it doesn't even make sense to you. You act like you're a couple. You spend time together. They're romantic towards you. But why won't they put a label on it? And you wonder, am I not good enough for this person? But in reality, it's quite the opposite. Avoidants have a very specific set of fears, and these fears stem from childhood emotional neglect. This is a person that wasn't given the love and the nurturing in the way that they needed as a child, and they personalized that neglect, growing up to feel like there must be something wrong with them, that they're not lovable, typically coming from households where you don't talk about feelings, where parents don't say things like, I love you. So what happens is they learn to associate emotional closeness, emotional intimacy with rejection and abandonment. Because they learned if you rely on anybody for your emotional needs, such as your parents, you're going to get rejected, disappointed, perhaps even outright abandoned. And because of this association, they actually associate commitment with abandonment as well. And this fear usually lies in the subconscious mind of the avoidant. It is an implied notion that when you commit to somebody, that you have to be emotionally available to them, that you have to be vulnerable. And emotional availability and vulnerability, well, that brings emotional intimacy, which equals abandonment. Therefore, commitment equals abandonment, especially if they're in a relationship with a partner that is loving, affectionate, and emotionally available to them. Because then there's that unspoken pressure for them to be available and vulnerable in return. This causes them to feel unsafe. And due to the lack of self-esteem, this is a person that feels like that loving, consistent partner is too good for them. And it's inevitable that the good partner is going to figure out that they're too good for the avoidant and reject and abandon them. So they feel unsafe with emotional intimacy, and they feel unsafe with commitment with a partner that is emotionally available. But why were they able to commit to somebody else in the past? Well, odds are that person was emotionally unavailable. Commitment is not as scary to an avoidant with a partner that is emotionally unavailable, such as another dismissive avoidant, or even worse, a narcissist. That's because that person is walled off as well. There's no threat of emotional intimacy in that relationship. It feels safe. They both get to keep their walls off, keep it superficial, and there's no threat of having to be vulnerable and no pressure for it either. Plus, the emotionally unavailable partner is less threatening in general because they're not as special. So abandonment and rejection from this person wouldn't hurt as much. But with the special partner that's consistent and loving, it would be devastating. So the avoidant keeps up walls and pushes away the emotionally available partner to keep themselves safe. It's maladaptive because it actually hurts the avoidant, not doesn't help them. It doesn't actually protect them. But they feel like they're safe by pushing this person away. Now, just because they have these fears doesn't mean that you have to tolerate no commitment. If you want a commitment label, if you want a serious relationship, if a serious committed relationship is what you want, then it's imperative that you have hold and enforce boundaries, because these situationships can drag on for years without commitment. You're constantly longing for that commitment from this person, trying to earn the love, becoming more anxious in the process, and they still keep on moving the goalpost and giving you vague excuses. It's only hurting you at that point. So holding that boundary, which is your limits of what you want, don't want, what you need, don't need, what you'll tolerate, not tolerate, and what you expect. So once a lot of time has passed by and this person still won't commit, you can hold that boundary in a kind but firm way. Commitment is something that's really important to me. I'm looking for a serious committed relationship. with the person that I love. And if commitment doesn't work for you, okay, I can't force you to want to commit, but that's something that really is necessary for me. That's a boundary for me. And if that's not something you're able to do, then this relationship, situationship doesn't work for me. And yes, you might lose the person, but one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to show respect and care and concern for your needs and boundaries and agree to commit, or they're going to run away from the relationship, situationship. And if they do that, what they're telling you is that your needs, your feelings, things like commitment, your expectations, they were never going to meet them. They were never going to show concern for them. And you're losing a person that was not investing in you emotionally the way that you were with them. You were losing a one-way street relationship. And you're also standing up for yourself in a healthy way by holding that boundary and telling yourself that you have your own back, that you can rely on yourself, and your wants, needs, expectations are important. But when you self-sacrifice, self-abandon, and neglect your needs to cater to the other person to keep them from running away, you are self-abandoning. And you're telling yourself that your wants, needs, feelings, and expectations don't matter, and that this person's feelings and needs matter more than yours, which is the recipe for anxiousness, because now you're tiptoeing around, walking on eggshells, trying to earn their love. If they don't want to commit because of their own fears and insecurities, it's unfortunate, but that doesn't mean you have to take it. And if they're not willing to work on themselves, agree to commitment, become more emotionally available for you, what kind of relationship would you really be losing by holding a boundary? It's an important question to ask yourself. You're not responsible for their attachment wounds. You're not responsible for their fears, but you do have the responsibility to look out for yourself in a healthy way.